Hey guys, hope you're having a good week. I've had a good week. It was a good day, good trading day. I'm enjoying me some beer, and well, let's just have some of the beer. And anyways, I want to talk about this Ukraine thing because this has been talked about a lot. The media is really pushing it. Why is the media pushing it? Why are they pushing this war's imminent thing? Because I don't necessarily think they're pushing it because there's some sort of collusion with Biden or anything like that. I don't necessarily think that's the case. This is what a lot of people think. And it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. What I'm saying is the media has a sensationalism bias first and foremost. The media pushes the most sensational narrative. Why? Because that gets clicks and that gets advertiser dollars. They have a sensationalism bias. They don't have 100% a false news bias, although in this video, I showed you this video here a few times. This is a video I did last week, how to find objective news. The first part of this video, I talk about basically why the media gets so many things wrong and actually, it's later in the video. It's later in the video where I talk about the news sources that actually get a certain amount of things right or wrong, and there is some news sources that get things right a fair amount of time. There actually is news sources that actually do get things right a fair amount of time if you actually go through and you look at. Just watch this video. Maybe I'll put a link at the end of the video, but watch this video. There is some news sources, especially some of these in the center, and especially in this all sides or this Ad Fontes group chart, they actually show you the ones. I'm sorry about that. The sources that are near the top of this chart are actually sources that, according to the fact checkers for Ad Fontes, they actually do get a lot of things right. So AP, Reuters, PBS, NPR, ABC, Newsy, Wall Street Journal's pretty accurate reporting, CNBC, which maybe with the actual news and not the financial stuff potentially. These are some of your more accurate news sources. And yes, you can see there is a left bias for much of the media. There's not a lot of right central news sources. A lot of the right sources end up way down here. They're pretty heavy to the right. So that's the case. There is some news sources that are fairly accurate, but they all have a sensationalism bias. Even PBS has a bias towards sensationalism. It's not as magnified as the other news sources. Certainly CNN is probably one of the worst at sensationalism bias, but that's the main thing, is the sensationalism bias. Collusion with the president is possible. I don't know that that's necessarily the answer, but you have a lot of these alternative media sources, and I used to really like Sagar and Crystal here. Sagar, I don't remember how you pronounce his name. When they were on the Hill, I used to watch them pretty routinely, but when they broke off and started breaking points, I have started to feel like perhaps these guys are going down kind of like a right-wing rabbit hole of alt-right. Most of their videos are attacking the left, and not that the left doesn't deserve to be attacked, they do, but these videos on YouTube, this alt-right viewpoint gets a tremendous amount of views, and I know some people won't believe that. They think YouTube's like a heavily liberal source, but I tell you, there's a lot of people that seek out the right-wing viewpoint on YouTube, and it seems like the right-wing videos get a lot more views, and I could be wrong. Some people will strongly disagree with me on that, but that's kind of my view, and I could be wrong. If you have definitive proof that that's wrong, I'd love to hear it, because I'm all about, hey, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But they're pushing this narrative and they're pushing things that have already been proven potentially are false. This withdrawals thing 3 days ago, there's decent evidence, compelling evidence that that's maybe not as true as Breaking Points wants to let on here. So who knows? They're pushing this idea that the media is overemphasizing that war is imminent. My view is, I don't know, and I can't, there's no way to have enough evidence to say for sure any way. Like, you can't definitively say that for sure there's going to be a war. You can't definitively say that. My hope is that there's not a war. I really strongly, my view, I'm very pacifist. I do not like war in any way, really. I mean, there's been a few wars that have made some sense. I think in World War II, something probably had to be done, obviously. But I think things could have been done to prevent Germany from, the sanctions could have been tougher, and we could have prevented that war. But we would have had to start sooner. Once Hitler rose to power and had that massive military, then we were kind of screwed and had to get into that war. Like, something had to be done. People needed our help, and so that one made sense. But most other wars make no sense. This war, Ukraine and Russia, makes no sense if it happens. I really hope it doesn't happen. But this idea that it can't happen, that people like Breaking Points are pushing, I think is also not necessarily accurate. I don't know how people can push that view when this happened. Crimea was invaded by the Russian Federation. Crimea was once part of Ukraine. It happened not that long ago. Russia will do it. They can do it. They have done it. That's not to say that they will for sure, because they took a very small strip of land in Crimea. I don't know if there's a map on here, but it's not like I think it's this little part over here or something, or maybe this is the whole map of Crimea. But Crimea is not a big geographic region. It says here, but if Ukraine is up here and it's huge compared to this. But strategically, it's a good location because of the seaports that they got access to when they took this. So that was one of the big things. But they have done this before. And the other reason why war is possible, and if you're thinking it's not possible because the media says it's going to happen, there's been a war there since 2014. So they invaded Crimea in 2014. Okay. And then since then, there's been conflict in the Donbass region over here. Since then, that has been happening. And there's been Russians killed in Ukraine. There's been Russian forces actually in Ukraine. There's been a lot of fighting and there are a lot of deaths in Ukraine. To say they won't invade, there won't be war. There's already war, first of all. There's already war. So it's entirely possible. Yeah, it hasn't really been formal. It's been a little bit covert. Russia in the past used this group called the Wagner Group, which I've considered doing a video on that, and I may at some point. But the Wagner Group is a mercenary group for Putin, and they're borderline a terrorist group, really. They've done some really, really bad things. They are likely the ones that shot down the airliner. I don't know if this is in here, but there was a civilian airliner shot down over Ukraine. Most of you probably remember that. So it is entirely possible. Plus, the third reason why it is possible, they have massed a lot of troops on the border. There's a lot of troops there. I don't know if it's the biggest buildup. I couldn't find evidence on whether this is the biggest buildup they've ever done, because I know they've done buildups on the border before during this conflict. I think this is probably the biggest one, but if it's not, let me know. But I'm pretty sure it is. So that's the other reason why it's entirely possible that it could happen. Another reason is Putin's a little crazy, and Putin could do it. Reasons why it might not happen are because last time it happened, 2014, when he annexed Crimea, the GDP the following year was very bad. But there was a global slowdown worldwide in 2015. So a lot of countries had a slowdown in their GDP, but they actually had contracting GDP for the year. And since then, their GDP growth has not been very good. The reason for that was the sanctions that were put on by the U.S. and by the EU were pretty tough, and it did affect them. So that's one reason why he might not invade, because, and you can look at what's happened with the Russian stock market this year, just with the threat of war, it has absolutely crashed. So there is some economic reasons why potentially they won't invade. Okay. But the thing is, let's see, the thing about it is the only person that knows is Vladimir Putin. He's the, because Russia is an authoritarian regime. He's the one, and unless you can read Putin's mind, you don't know. So anyone that's saying they do know, or even alluding to the idea that they know, or saying they know because they just want to be the opposite of the media and they just want to get clicks, they're doing the exact same. Breaking Points is doing the exact same thing the media does. And there's many alternative media sources on YouTube that do the same thing, doing the exact same thing, using sensationalism to get clicks. And sure, I'm probably doing that a little bit too, but I'm a small fish, right? So it's a little bit different. What else? I'm looking through my notes, seeing if I missed anything. Yeah, I think that's it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to put these out every day so that one of these days this channel might get noticed by the algorithm and get some traction and get some actual impressions out. I think most of my videos get like 40 to 50 impressions, and the click-through rate is about anywhere from 5 to 15%. That's why it doesn't get very many views. But apparently, when you're new to YouTube, and this channel is new to YouTube, you don't get a lot of impressions early on, as the algorithm is trying to figure out who you are and who it needs to push your content to. So I'm hopeful that maybe once I get up to like 50 videos or something, that I will start to get some of my content will get out and some people will actually watch it. If not, well, you know, I might not do it anymore because, you know, talking to nobody is, it's not really worth it. So if you do like it, subscribe and hit the like button and comment. So I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. See you guys.